Alright everybody, Steve Sefcik from Should Have Been Engineering. Today we have to do an airbox repair. This is actually a really common problem on the older Concours. As you see, this airbox has split on this bottom front seam. The reason that this happens is that you can see that the front face of the airbox is plastic welded on. This is exposed to a lot of heat from the engine. Underneath along here is where the PVC oil rail is inside the airbox, so there's oil constantly along here. And then also, what holds in the air filter? The air filter is held in by a wedge, and the wedge is constantly trying to push the floor down with the airbox. So everything is conspiring to break your airbox. So we're going to do a repair today that's going to leave this repaired and a permanent repair. Something that's not going to have a problem in the future. Yep. Alright, this is how I affect the repairs on the airbox. The first thing is take the airbox out of your bike, take the air filter out of it, take the door off of it, and take all of your airbox boots out of the airbox. I use brake clean. Brake clean does a great job of cleaning stuff. If you notice, this airbox is nice and clean. It's nice and clean on the inside, it's clean on the outside. If we're going to do a repair, we need to count on the repair sticking and staying together, and you're not going to be able to do that in an oily environment. So get a couple cans of brake clean. Basically what I've done is I've gotten a piece of corner edge molding for drywall. You can pick this up at Home Depot or any kind of hardware store, and you guys that are home repair inclined, which I'm not, probably have some of this laying around. But I do find that this does a great job at repairing the airbox, okay? Now remember, this is just how I do the repair. You might find another way that works as well or better. If you do, I'd love to hear about it. But this works pretty good. So basically what I do is I take a piece of this corn beading and I notch it out, so that it'll be able to get around where this drain nipple is and where the T is for the PVC system, and so that this fits nice and tight in that area, okay? And if you can see how that's going to fit when we're finished up, this kind of gives you a pretty good idea. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to drill some pilot holes, and this is going to be where our screws are going to go. Okay, so fit your piece on, and then go ahead and punch some pilot holes in. Make sure that you have the piece really pushed up tight where you're going to want it to be, okay? Okay, you can start filling. Okay, we've got our pilot holes drilled all through the box, top and bottom. Lines up with the holes that are already in the piece of corner beading. So the next thing that we're going to do is use some ultra black RTV. You want to use ultra black or you want to use ultra gray. The advantage here is that they're highly oil resistant. You're not going to want to use blue or clear or anything like that because they really don't work well in this application. And all we're going to do is just sheet some of this down into the edge of the corner beading. Just like that. And then put it onto the airbox. Easy, easy, easy. We're going to line up our holes. Okay, all the pilot holes line up real nice. And then we're just going to start screwing it in place. sure you pull it up good and tight. Okay, we've got the corner beading all screwed onto the box, as you see, down the bottom, side, pulled up nice and tight. You know, I should have mentioned before, but what I'm using is, this is basically like a 3/8 inch, you know, hex head screw. You can use different kinds of screws. You can use self-tappers if you want to. I find these are easy because, you know, you can hold that hex in your tool easier than putting in a regular screw or Phillips screw or something like that. I would caution you not to use anything longer than, let's say, a 1/2 inch. And the reason is, when you get inside of the airbox, in the front where the PCV system is, you can dislodge the PCV system. If you put a long screw in there, you can push the PCV system up off the floor of the airbox. And we're not trying to create any problems, we're trying to fix them. So at this point, I'm just going to take some semi-gloss black paint, shoot it on here, kind of make it invisible, and then we'll put the airbox boots back in, be good to go. Alright, so we've got our repair finished. We've shot some paint on it, so you can see it's, you know, kind of hides it pretty well. Gets the problem solved, and it didn't cost us a lot of money, and that's what we're trying to do here. A couple other things, you know, you previously saw the repair that I did on the door, so that's going to take care of any issues there. Air filters. I think this is a K&N air filter, and I think that one of the problems that helps to cause this is that the K&N air filter is not very compressible on the foam on the top, and I think that that kind of contributes to blowing these air boxes apart. Another thing too is that it's really common on the K&N air filter to have that foam come off. So what I do is I use super glue, and I've already repaired this one and glued it back on. That'll help to hold it. I think if you've had any experience with the K&N air filter, yours will probably come off also. If you're going to do that repair, again, you can use brake clean. Make sure that the foam is clean. Make sure that the surface is clean before you glue it. You're not going to get a good adherence if you don't do that. Okay, one of the problems with these is that they will wear away that little foam seal. So what I've done is I've put some black, ultra black RTV all around the edge of the door on the inside, and I laid some saran wrap over the airbox and then set it down on there, and I let it set. The idea there is that we can peel the saran wrap off of it, and that the RTV will make a new seal for us that we can use, you know, indefinitely. Let's see how that worked out. Okay. As you can see, the RTV settled in all the way around, so now we're going to have a new seal from the RTV. Just have to trim it a little bit on the outside edge, and this will mate up real well with the airbox whenever it's back on the airbox, so that should take care of any kind of leakage problems that we have. Okay, when we put our airbox boots back in, there's a way to make sure the airbox boots go in where they need to. If you notice, there's a little notch down here. There's also a little notch on the underside of your airbox boot, okay? Probably pretty hard to see that, but it's inside of that rail. Now, when you put your airbox boots in, you rotate it around, you'll feel the airbox boot notch right in there, okay? So, basically, kind of stuff the boot in there. And when you rotate it around, there we go. Okay, now it's indexed into the bottom of the boot. You'll also see there was a little flat cutoff over here on the side of the airbox boot that kind of worked up against that strengthening rib. So when you go to put all your boots in, remember that. I think that's probably pretty much about it. That's about all it takes to fix an airbox. So you can expect that if you've got an older Concours that's broken, if you're servicing your carburetors, if you'd sent me carbs to do your carburetors or whatever, I strongly suggest to you, even if your airbox is not broken, take it out and do this repair, because if it's not broken now, eventually it will be. Let me touch on one more thing. If I've done your carbs, or if you're running my jet kit, this is the area where the foam goes. Back here, this is the intake where the air goes into the airbox. This is back facing at your battery box. You take your foam, arrow in, stuff it in, like that. And you want to put it in so that it's not completely inside of the runner, but a little bit sticking out, just a little bit like that. That'll keep it from sucking in. And that's how you're going to orient that foam into your airbox. All right, everybody, as always, I appreciate you watching. If you want to find out more about your Concours, you can go to the Concours Owners Group, go to the forums. Hope you join Concours Owners Group. Or, of course, I'd like to see you over at my website, shouldhavebeenengineering.com, and look forward to you visiting with us. Thanks again.